Somewhere on that long, lonely road, we all stand alone, looking for clues from our different views.
I came to in a wintry tomb. I was surrounded by snow and quickly freezing to death. If I had woken up but a few moments later, I am sure I would have never woken at all. Being a street urchin from Luskin, I was well aware of the deadly implications of snow and freezing temperatures. Unfortunately, I didn't know where I was or how to escape my situation. I stopped my panic and collected my thoughts for a moment. I could feel my weight being pulled down, so I started to dig in the opposite direction. It was slow going at first, but became faster as I was able to free some space around my arms. Soon, I was able to reach sweet freedom and take my first free breaths in a long, long time. The air had never tasted so sweet, though the air burned my lungs from the bitter cold. My limbs were already pink, and I couldn't feel my hands or my feet. My face was following closely. Time was of the essence. Looking around, I could finally see what had happened. Just as the galleon crashed into the snow, I must have been thrown free to land about 100 feet from the wrecked ship. The galleon was in pieces, and there were bodies everywhere. I could even see smoke coming from a small fire somewhere on the galleon. I started looking through the wreckage to find anything I could that would help me survive. I was able to collect some clothes off of the bodies when I noticed one of the squid people had survived. He was crawling along a broken part of the deck of the ship. It looked like his legs weren't working, as he was dragging himself on his elbows. He hadn't seen me yet. If he could see me, he could use his terrible mind powers to control me. I had to be stealthy and quick. Thankfully, those were skills I had mastered over the years. I found a knife on one of the other bodies and was able to creep silently up to the evil cephalopod. I raised my knife high above my head and plunged it down with the force of a lifetime of rage. It went easily into his hard, cartilaginous skull, and his evil was halted forevermore. I found no other survivors. Since there was a fire going already, I was able to protect it and slowly feed it more lumber until I could warm myself up and dry all of my clothes. I scoured the whole debris field and reclaimed every piece of debris I thought I could find a use for. I was able to find a couple of usable knives and a little bit of food. The captain's cabin had a stone fireplace in it, and while it didn't survive the crash, I was able to salvage armfuls of stone to make my crude hearth from. It wasn't much, but at least allowed me to keep my fire out of the snow. Thankfully, enough wood could be had to fashion a very small hut-like structure. It wasn't enough to lay down in, but I was able to at least sleep sitting down with my back against the wall. Over the course of many days, I even did a pretty good job of building up the snow around it to make it safe from the chilling wind. Though I felt fortunate I was able to cobble enough together to survive, I lost 3 of my toes in the fight to secure my life. It took a lot of time to build my structure and to secure all the supplies I could, but after that initial week, I had nothing but time. The nights were the worst and the most terrifying. I was alone. I had no idea where I was, or if there was any civilized life anywhere near me. As far as I could see, there was nothing but snow and mountains. I was free, but trapped once again, and each twilight brought predators. Wolves and coyotes prowled the forests and came scavenging for the bodies. I dragged some of them away after I realized they attracted unwanted attention, but some were frozen in place before I could move them. I couldn't find any ranged weapons, and a wooden spear was the best I could fashion to keep enemies at a little distance. I tried to fasten a blade to the end, but was always thwarted by my limited intellect. I settled for sharpening the end and hardening it in the fire.
In the dark I've called out your name. It echoes in vain over again. In